Just got home from my appointment. So things went well. They didn't actually measure the baby this time, which was a little bit of a bummer. I was hoping to see how much bigger he is because he feels huge, but he's still head down, thankfully. And heart rate and everything is looking good. So we're still on track for 2.5 weeks. They've officially set the schedule for the 23rd. Essentially what they're going to do is they will check me on my appointment on the 21st to see if I'm dilated at all. If I am, then they'll just have me come in Monday the 24th, and start Pitocin. If not, then they will have me come in Sunday night and have me get started with something that will help like soften my cervix. So today, and we just kind of talked through like what we're gonna do for the next 2 weeks. They want us to essentially quarantine. I had to get a note for Brian to be able to work from home, to do 2 weeks working from home. So hopefully that'll be a possibility, but basically they don't want us leaving the house if we don't absolutely have to. And limiting our exposure to other people for those last 2 weeks, because if I do test positive, they'll test me on the 20th. And if I happen to test positive, then the care for the baby afterwards changes. I either have to like wash my hands, all the stuff before I hold him and feed him and wear a mask, or the other not so great option is that I would have to have him in a separate room with Brian and basically wouldn't see him. And then they would suggest when we get home that I have a family member in the house that basically takes care of the baby for like at least a week. And stays away from me. So that just sounds like a really awful alternative that I would prefer not to have to deal with, or even have to contemplate. So we've been getting a ton of work done. We finally got Brecken's bed put together this weekend, and the wallpaper guys are here today, so they just got her room finished. We actually got the baby room dresser set up too. So it's finally done here. Still finishing the last of that, but we're making progress. Okay, baby room is almost finished. Got the crib sheet on today, wallpaper done. Got the rocking chair in and the pillow. Finally got the dresser completely done. We had like one last drawer we had to put in. Got some little things on here. Also, how did I forget how little newborn diapers are? Okay, just got finished with my sono. So they're actually measuring next week. I feel like they tell me something different each week that I'm there. I should just listen to exactly what the doctor said, because he was gone last week and the nurse told me it would actually be this week, but he had told me it would actually be my last week there. So anyway, everything looks good. Baby's moving well. Still have plenty of fluid. He says I have the Rolls Royce of placentas, so that's good after having past experience. So all is well. They will measure me next week and then we'll make the final determination on size and whether or not he's too big for VBAC and if I should go C-section or not. So we shall see. 1 more week. So I think we're gonna pack the hospital bags today. Not feeling the greatest. I woke up at like 1:30. I did go back to sleep on the couch, but I just kind of feel yuck. And blood pressure's been up a little bit the last 2 days, so my doctor upped my meds again, and I feel like that always makes me feel a little off as well. But I'm going to take this with us to the hospital. So this is something I found at Hobby Lobby, and I got this made from Etsy, and then I have one for Brian that's still coming because they sent me 2 mama ones. But I'm probably gonna keep it really simple as far as like my hospital bag. I don't think we'll be there super long because of obviously COVID and everything else, but we're just gonna take some leggings, a sweatshirt, a couple of pairs of pajamas, some swaddles for the baby. I have this receiving blanket made for him that has his name on it, and unfortunately it still hasn't shipped. So interesting turn of events. Blood pressure was elevated like 2 days in a row, so we upped my blood pressure meds, and felt really crummy all day yesterday, like headache starting, just kind of felt blah, and decided to take a nap, just try to sleep it off a little bit. Did not feel better, and when I took my blood pressure, it was still high, like in the 147 over 88 range, which, you know, with having a higher dosage didn't quite make sense. So I texted my doctor, and he wanted me to come to the hospital to do labs and just like monitor my blood pressure. So Brian and I left about right around 5, which ironically is about the exact same time we left the last time when we made the trip over with Briar. And so it was just kind of a whirlwind. Like, it felt like the same drive all over again. And so we got here. They took a while to get me admitted to triage. Got my blood pressure. It was running high. It was like 166 over 88, and some of those higher ones, that was, they wanted to get an IV in as fast as they could. They ended up giving me some oral blood pressure meds, which brought it down and got it stabilized. They also said that I was actually contracting every 2 to 3 minutes while they had the baby on the monitor, which I could feel some, but most of it I couldn't. So they ended up upping my blood pressure meds again and keeping me here for at least 24 hours. And then they gave me my first steroid shot last night around 9, which will help kind of develop the baby's lungs, so just in case something does change and they have to deliver this weekend, that they would already have that going. And so I have to get another one tonight, which means I will most likely not go home till tomorrow morning. I'll have been here like 48 hours, or no, not quite that long, but 2 nights basically. So slept terrible, tons of heartburn, super nauseous. Blood pressure actually got to like 96 over 51 at one point. They've come in twice at like 1 and 5 to take blood. I haven't heard the results of those, but I'm assuming I'll see my doctor sometime this morning. So now it's just to wait and see. My mom is making the trek up so that she can help with the kids, just in case I end up going in. And I think I've decided that regardless of the outcome, I'm going to go ahead and go C-section, just for anxiety purposes and just to get him here safely. It just makes me really nervous to labor regularly, with the possible chance of still having to go C-section with as big as he is, and also have to worry about my blood pressure going up. So it's kind of where I'm at right now. So they have me on the fetal monitor this morning. That's what's making all the racket over there. And it actually took me down for sono, which I was not expecting, and said that he is 7 pounds 13 ounces and measuring 2.5 weeks ahead. But the doctor will come around during rounds, so I'm anxious to kind of see what he has to say, to see what his thoughts are on the whole thing, because that's actually less than what I was expecting, but I don't know if it means anything. So yeah, so it's been a crazy 36 hours. I finally got discharged. I had, from about 4:30 to 7 yesterday, tons of contractions in my back, in my stomach, and just felt like I was gonna throw up. Felt like my stomach was on fire. Felt like my back was throbbing, but didn't progress into anything. So they kept me over till this morning. Got my last steroid shot yesterday, just in case we go C-section, and basically we just waited out. So my induction's still scheduled for the start of the 23rd, and then we'll just kind of play it by ear this week. I have a sono on Tuesday and stress test again on Friday. and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I packed the hospital bag for the baby today. I think I've already showed this, but I got this little sign to have with his information on it. I packed 2 swaddles, packed 2 pairs of PJs, I packed an outfit, I added some pants to it, packed the other onesie, we added some pants, packed 2 swaddles. I guess those, I keep calling those swaddles, those are actually work cloths over there. And then 1 passy. And this is the one that I got the girls matching shirts to go with. And then I have a sweatshirt that says Mama on it, and Brian has one that's going to say Daddy. So I pretty much have everything for him ready to go. So interesting turn of events. Went to my appointment yesterday. They decided to move my C-section for Friday. So now I'm in scramble mode trying to get everything done before then. Just came up the stairs. I'm putting together the last details of the kids' gift from the baby. Trying to get Brecken's all of her last minute stuff ready for her school lunch tomorrow and just first day of school. Had to go get my COVID test this morning. So basically just making a list and running around all the stuff I want to get done before Friday because we have to be there at 9:30. So it's going to go quick. So my COVID test came back negative. So that's a huge plus. Spending the morning cleaning and getting the upstairs ready. You can see here in the background, I've got like the nurses and doctor baskets that are just like thank you baskets that I stole from a blogger, or stole the idea from a blogger. So I'm just trying to keep busy to keep my mind off things. Feeling kind of lightheaded today. Just trying to get last minute stuff. I'm allowed to eat up until 4 a.m. I'm allowed to have clear liquids till 9 a.m. I have to leave here at 9:30. I have to be there at 10:30, and then my C-section is scheduled for 1:30. So yeah, feeling a little anxious. I think partly just because I don't know what to expect. Whereas like when you've got, when you've labored 4 times, you kind of know the drill. So this is a little different. So I kind of feel like I'm going in for major surgery. But otherwise, things have been going smooth. I forgot to mention too, Brecken also had her first day of kindergarten today. So that was kind of a busy morning, making sure that we had her dress and her lunch, and then we went out the door without a mask, so we had to give it those. Delaney dropped her off, so I wasn't being exposed to people at the school. So yeah, she's super excited. She got up 2 hours earlier than normal. Could not wait to like put her dress on and get all that stuff done and her things in her backpack. So I cannot wait to hear how her first day went. But moving in. Got lots of bags. Okay, so we're here and they've got us in the prep room. So they're going to come in and start fetal monitor and things like that, and then get my IV prepped here shortly. Check blood pressure, all of that, and get the ball rolling. So it's been a whirlwind 24 hours. It took me back for the C-section. Everything went fine, like according to plan. Baby did great. Had a really strong cry, but they said that he would maybe have wet lungs afterwards, which is exactly what he had. So he had some fluid in his lungs. They give it a certain amount of time to get the oxygen levels up. to make sure that they don't need to go to the NICU, so that they can stay down with you. Otherwise, they go ahead and take them and put them on oxygen for a little bit. So after about 10 or 15 minutes, he just wasn't quite getting all of it out as long as he had some shortness of breath, and so they went ahead and took him up, and then they got me stitched up and into recovery, and I was supposed to be down there for about an hour, and I was gonna head up to the NICU to see him. They could not get my blood pressure to come down for whatever reason. It was like running 160 over 81. And so instead of an hour in recovery, it was like 4 hours in recovery. And they ended up having to put me on magnesium, which I've had before with Briar, and it was the worst experience I've ever had medically in my life. This time it was much more mild, but it makes me super lightheaded and dizzy and kind of like I'm just in a fog. So I've been on it since like 6 o'clock last night. They said that they think they can take me off of it at like 2 o'clock today. Right now it's 1. But I have not been able to go up to the NICU to see him. So I actually have not held him or touched him. I touched his cheek initially. They brought him over so that I could see him before they took him up to the NICU, and that was the last I've seen him. So I've gotten to see him on FaceTime. Brian's taken a bunch of pictures for me and stuff, but needless to say, it's been almost 24 hours and I haven't held my child. So looking forward to that. Sleep in the hospital clearly is impossible. They had to come in once an hour to check my blood pressure, which ended up being between the tech and the nurse, they were coming in almost every half hour. So I would doze off for like 15 or 20 minutes and then you woke them back up. So tonight should be a lot better because they won't be checking me so closely. Stitches and everything look good. So they're gonna try to wean him off of oxygen, and once I'm off the magnesium, then I will probably feel like a new person. So, but because the blood pressure was higher, instead of going home Sunday, it seems like it'll be Monday, but they're hoping that the baby will be ready to go home with me at the same time. So, so yeah, all's well. For being born at 37 weeks, he was 10'2", way bigger than we thought. So the last appointment, they measured him at 7'13", which I thought seemed way off because he felt so heavy. So 10'2" seemed much more accurate. And he's huge. He's chunky, and he is got the biggest cheeks ever. He literally looks like a little Buddha baby. So, but I'm very much looking forward to holding him and just getting to snuggle on him. But the best part is that as soon as I saw him, I could tell, like, now we know our family's complete. So.
When are we going to take you home? Huh? You're kind of fragile. I think our kids will beat you up. They'll beat you up. They'll toughen you up in a hurry. Braden will squeeze you. And Briley will squeeze you even harder. And Brecken will carry you around.
Baby's doing good today. We've gotten a chance to go over and see him a couple times. We went when the doctors were doing their rounds this morning, which was nice because we had to actually talk to the doctors. We've missed them the last 2 days, or the last, I guess, yesterday. they moved him down off of the CPAP machine, which essentially I guess it goes like incubation, BiPAP, CPAP, and then down to the nose cannula. So the CPAP is actually helping like blow in and out both ways or something like that. They moved it down to just to the nose cannula, and they're still giving him oxygen through that, but they did move it down this afternoon to what they say is 2 liters, which would allow him to move over to immediate care rather than be in actual ICU. So that was one thing that was good to progress. They also wanted him to be able to start eating from a bottle, and if he was able to do that, then they would be able to shut off his IV in his head and take that out, and possibly get the feeding tube out. So they did the feeding tube, or they did the bottle this afternoon, and he did great. He wanted more, probably because he's huge, but so that was great. So he's progressing with that. They wanted to see him kind of like aggressively get after wanting the bottle. So today I feel much better because I was able to sleep all night through, which I did not get the night before. They literally came in like twice an hour the first night, and so it was just, if I got 20 minutes on the hour, it was about, I was lucky. So Brian just went home for the first time. He's gonna sleep at home tonight and then come back in the morning, give my mom some relief with the kids, and so I'm gonna go over to the NICU around 5 or so and get to feed the baby again, bottle feed the baby, and then but more helpful. But right now they're saying they think that it'll be Wednesday before he gets to go home. Conservatively, like if he hits all his milestones, possibly Tuesday. But they obviously want to make sure that they're not rushing him. So I'm just sitting in his room. I don't know if you can see him up in there. But I missed his feeding at 5 because the transport took 45 minutes, and Brian went home. So he's gonna eat again at 8. So I'm hoping that we can feed him then. But I'm just sitting in his room, figured I would wait it out. Listening to all his little noises. But just feeling really grateful. Thinking back to the last time that I was here at this hospital, that we didn't take a baby home. So the fact that we get to this time, and that he's healthy, and just thinking about that if we had Briar, we wouldn't most likely have him, because we wouldn't have gone for 5 kids, especially after 4 girls. So yeah, just feeling very grateful. The whole experience has been super calming, and I was worried about how I would feel afterwards with it being a boy and how that bonding would go, and especially now with not being able to like hold him as much and not getting a chance to see him for 24 hours. You just want that time to be able to bond. So I've been really grateful that that hasn't been hasn't been a factor. I haven't felt him getting any postpartum or anything like that as of now. So very much want to see him, very much want to hold him, very much care about what he's doing. So they are going to discharge me today, this afternoon sometime. So the baby is probably not going to go until Wednesday. Today's Monday, but they had to put him under the bilirubin last night because his numbers were like right on the verge of being too high. So they thought they would be proactive and do that. But I'm hoping to hear that they're going to be able to move him down to intermediate care today. He was like hitting all of the other milestones that he needed to be there. So he's going to, they had to get him off of less oxygen flow, less than like 2 liters or less, which he did. And then he also needed to bottle feed, which at least an ounce, which he did 3 times yesterday.
Was this how you had it? Why doesn't this look right? This loop you did around the that how you did it? Something doesn't seem right.
Let me look. Are you ready to eat? Are you ready to eat? Hi. Hello. Today is finally the day. We're going to pick up the baby. I've got a follow-up appointment for my blood pressure at 10:15, and then they're going to discharge him right after because they have to discharge him to the car. They can't like let us have him and then take him to my appointment. So we are very excited to get him home. Everything, he's progressed great. He's off all of the oxygen. He got circumcised yesterday, which was unfortunate. Poor little guy was like whimpering and stuff. But he did great. And so he is ready to come home. You want to see baby brother?
You want to see him? Yeah. It's a real baby.
Real baby.
Can you believe it, Riley? Bridget, what do you think?
It's a real baby.
Little baby.
It's real.
Do you like him?
Yeah. Let him in here. I can't hold him.
You can't hold him?
No. He's big.
He's big, yeah.
Dad, you can hold him. We can hold him on the couch. Yeah. And lock him here. Don't lock him too fast. Oh, he will wake up.
Look at this. Is what was on him.
Oh.
Look at that.
Ooh, look at him. Ooh, look at him.
Troy's butt.
Milky.
Hi, Dragon Love. What do you think? He's opening his eyes.
You're doing good. Good job.
So we've been home 2 days. Baby's doing good. He slept 6 hours the first night. Actually, he's done 6-hour stretches both nights. So the pediatrician said that like initially until they get to like 40 weeks that they're a little bit more sleepy, so that he could easily do more stretches. But so we'll see if that changes or not. But all of our kids have actually been pretty good sleepers. And so today he's been way more awake than normal. Like we actually went to Target to get Riley's school supplies knocked out, and she so we had him with us, and he was awake through that whole thing, which normally he has been sleeping throughout the day. And then he's been more awake even since we've been home than what he's been yesterday. He slept almost like the entire day. So today's kind of on a snack schedule. He's been eating on and off like every hour, which is not good. I don't want to get that in the habit, because usually I wake him up like to eat every 3 hours, and then at night I usually just let them go until they wake up. And today, because we've been out and about and stuff like that, we got off schedule. So that might come into play tonight and hurt me, but for now, that's what we're going with. But otherwise, good to have him home. He's been doing well. He did good at his doctor's appointment. So he lost like 10 ounces since birth, but that's fairly normal. So they want to see us again next week, just to check. His bilirubin has still a little bit of a yellow coloring to his skin and his eyes, but she said it wasn't anything to be concerned about, and they'll check him again next week when we go. So all is well so far, but we're glad to have him home. It's good to have everybody here with us.